10 games you definitely regret buying. Huge expectations and hype can easily ruin a game, and today we're looking at 10 games that cause gamers massive regrets. Number 1. An insanely hyped action role-playing live service brawler game with the Marvel IP could never lead to mass disappointment, right? Wrong. Avengers was the second highest launch month dollar sales of all time behind Spider-Man. Looking like it could be the destiny for Marvel fans, it actually ended up being the Anthem for Marvel fans. After the initial hype of the game wore down and gamers got through the campaign, which actually wasn't awful, the flaws of the game began to show. Broken matchmaking, reused environments and enemies, lack of in-game content, and the bugs. Oh man, the bugs. It was reported in one patch that they fixed over 1,000 player reported issues. Not sure how the game got launched with that many bugs, but here we are. And with all those issues combined, that is why the player base fell below 1,000 on its first month. And just quickly to under 500 the next. I guess we'll just have to wait for Insomniac to make a true Marvel co-op game. Please? Number 2. Anthem emotionally hurt me, I'm not gonna lie. It appeared BioWare was finally gonna make an epic comeback with their live service game. A Destiny killer, one could say. I mean, you can't blame us for believing that. Did you see the gameplay reveal from 2017? Being friggin' Iron Man in a dope looking world with massive creatures and these weird storms going on, but they tricked us all. Feeling like half a game with bugs galore, terrible matchmaking, confusing story, boring loop, and repetitive missions, Anthem disappointed literally everyone. Especially my 3 friends who I made get the game, who still remind me to this day. The only good thing about the game was the flying. The flying was actually really great, but this wasn't supposed to be Microsoft Iron Man Simulator. The game literally killed BioWare, who decided to stop working on the revamp altogether and vanish into the abyss. Number 3. I couldn't believe Amazon was actually making a game, let alone an MMO. Don't they know MMOs were so 2004? At any rate, New World created tons of hype, like an unbelievable amount with their beta test. If you went to Twitch during one of these beta tests, literally everyone was playing it, and they were loving it. So what happened? Well, after the terrible launch and everyone played it for 100,000 hours in the first week, people realized there wasn't much to do. You gather resources, level up skills, do some PvP, and repeat. Sure, you could party up and do some dungeons and elite encounters, but that gets old quick. The game was supposed to have massive open world PvP. By the way, something that hasn't been done right since Dark Age of Camelot. Yes, I'm old. New World's wars were kind of a hassle to start, and they take a ton of time and resources. So players look for organic fights out in the world, and that isn't sustainable. I almost bought New World, and I'm glad I saved myself the disappointment. This time. But hey, if you do still play the game, let me know in the comments. Number 4. Biomutant was weird. It was something we've never seen before, but at the same time, everything we've seen before. The premise of playing as a creature that was created years after the humans destroyed the Earth was actually a really good idea. I love seeing countless Rocket Raccoon Simulator jokes every day. Biomutant had a great colorful world, but apart from that, everything else lacked. The combat was alright, but at launch the melee weapons did absolutely nothing. And that was one of the biggest parts I was looking forward to. The Tri-War was bland. Oh, go do some big battles that actually never felt big in any way. The World Eater bosses could have been insanely cool, but they were also too easy and boring. While there were tons of side missions, they were always repetitive and lackluster. I wouldn't have regretted getting Biomutant if it was $30, because it actually felt like a $30 game. And I don't think there would have been many other gamers who thought the same, but at $60, you just felt like you got robbed. Number 5. Imagine buying a game in 2012 and now it's 2022 and you've still never played the complete version. That's what the early founders of Star Citizen are going through. The FPS space sim MMO that promised a living, breathing universe to play in seems to be never coming out. Stuck in development for 10 years at this point, Star Citizen was originally slated for 2014. Backers at this point can only play parts of the game called modules, basically a beta test of a section of the game. The latest module though, Persistent Universe, came out in 2015, 7 years ago. Right now, if you want to back the game, there's multiple options of supporting it, ranging from $45 to $1,100. I don't know what the price was back in 2012, but if you sank in over $1,000, you're definitely regretting your purchase. Number 6. Not the comeback that DICE and EA were hoping for, but I mean, EA was just hoping for tons of sales, let's make that clear. And sell it did. About over 4 million copies in the first week, making it the second best seller in the whole series. The campaign-less Battlefield quickly received backlash from gamers after launch, dubbing it the worst reviewed game in the franchise. You can't win them all, right? With bugs galore, horrible bullet spread, lack of campaign, bad scoreboard, no class system, and all of these things listed here, thanks Reddit, The concurrent player base fell from over 100,000 to 50K, which is okay I guess, but not after a month. It's actually embarrassing when Farming Simulator has more concurrent gamers than a big AAA Battlefield title. And you want even more sadness? By the end of December, Battlefield fell to roughly just to 19,000 players. Those poor souls, they just don't know. Or they actually like it. Poor souls. Number 7. I don't think a game has caused more regrets in gamers than in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater community. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 is a horror disastrous created game. It was the last installment in the series since it put a nail in the coffin of the entire franchise. Activision was about to lose the license for Tony Hawk's name, so the game was extremely rushed in just a few months. This inevitably led to the game being absolutely soulless. The levels have no life to them and they feel completely empty. The goals are recycled and boring, and with anything being rushed, there were bugs everywhere. It was a true shame and a disservice to the fans of the series. Number 8. Gamers were asking for the GTA franchise to be remastered for years. Well, that and GTA 6, which is actually coming. Anyway, at long last, fans could finally go to Vice City and San Andreas with the latest graphics and updated character models. Ha! Psych! It was an utter disaster class from Rockstar. Other issues involving heavy rain and lighting ruined the entire experience, and it felt more like a cash grab on nostalgia than a proper tribute to the GTA success. It is in no doubt one of the most regrettable purchases a gamer could recently make. Number 9. Imagine a game where you create life starting as a cell, and you control how said cell evolves at every stage of its existence, hence creating your own creature and society. This was the promise of Spore. Spore at the time was gonna be game changing. The real-time strategy God game promised so much, and that was its downfall. Many of the core stages of the game were cut before release, and the ones that were left behind were very short minigames. And what you did previously just didn't seem to matter either. All in all, the game failed to meet any expectations, and ultimately left many wishing they never bought it. Number 10. A game that looked to potentially blend Mirror's Edge and Call of Duty, Brink. And Brink didn't do any of that. Brink was supposed to be the next big FPS game in 2011, and I was one of the people who bought it. The parkour looked amazing in the trailer, and I wanted to parkour around shooting people in the face. I mean, who doesn't? It looked really cool. Sadly, the parkour was clunky and it just didn't feel right. The character customization was lacking and didn't really allow players to do what they wanted. The guns all felt similar and the abilities were underpowered. All in all, the game just wasn't what it said it was going to be, and people were and still are mad about it. Check it out. It was truly a regrettable purchase. Buying games can be a gamble at times, especially now with the tech to make insane trailers. Let me know what game you regret buying down below and watch this video here next. Peace.